Talking to nobody right now then. How's it going? I am McDonald, and this is my shop. And we're going to make a recycled metal robot today. I'll tell you how I do it, and walk you through some steps, and probably explain a little bit about who I am as we do it. So let's go check it out. We got a few different camera angles that we're trying out. We're still really rough on this, so we're just playing it by ear here. I got my son Stu Spencer. There he is. He's running the switchboard tonight. He'll be answering your calls, and we'll see where it's going. Hi, Maggie. Hi, Rolly Locks and Lopey Dopey. Nice name. Almost as good as Who Just Arted. So, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm McDonald. Yeah, put it on the, yeah, look at that. Oh, yeah. Oh. Okay. So anyway, I've been a recycled metal artist for 30 years. I've been doing metal sculptures for probably almost 40 years. I started in junior high school, or as a sophomore in high school. That's what it was. And here we go. So I've been doing that for that long, and then I started doing better sculptures probably when I was 25. People said, hey, you need to start selling them. So I did, and it's been pretty successful. So I love doing it, and I spend a ton of time out here in the shop. So I'm just going to now introduce you guys to my shop, and this is how it goes. Got a pile of junk right here. Let's go to the other camera. You can see my table. There it is. I've got an old timer box. I've got a lamp. Came off of a bicycle or something. It's got lights in it. Tested the lights already. They work, which is really cool. The switch works. Most of this stuff I have collected. People give to me. All kinds of stuff. It's really a blessing that I get all this stuff. And one of these times, I'll take you through the shop and show you how much junk I actually have, because it's a little overwhelming to other people. It sometimes overwhelms me too. So what I got is I got this, what I'm thinking is the body. Silky Johnson started following me. Silky Johnson 04. We don't have any shout outs or emotes or woohoo, Megas Beth, she started following us. I don't have anything, so I'll just go, woohoo, woo, woo. All right, so I got this idea for a robot. I've made a lot of robots. You'll see some of my art in the corner over there. And it's just fun to make them. And I love all these little pieces. So I collected what I think is going to be a lot of this. So I got this. What we're going to make is the body. It's an old timer box. I don't know what it was for. Something about, I think it was a timer for like lights or something. You plugged them in. Old style. Has an old switch on it. So we're going to go and try to make a sad robot. I don't know why. I just want to make a sad robot. I like making odd robots. So we're going to have him. So let's see. Let's see if we can put them together, kind of like what I'm thinking. And it's probably not going to work too well. Okay, so we got two of these. So these are going to be the legs, these little pineapple juice cans. And I will take the labels off, of course. And then this is going to be the feet, something like those. Let's see. How are we going to show you? And then I'm going to mount this guy. So this is going to be his head. So he's going to kind of look like this. But he's going to look like that. He's going to be sad. He's going to be very sad. Oh, look at that. There's a lamp in the corner. It's sad too. So we're going to put this like this. And then if he's a lamp, he's going to actually be standing and put down some light onto whatever. So he's going to kind of have a good effect. And the other thing I'm going to do is, I was thinking about it, in his hand, he's going to have a rose. And it's going to look like he just got turned down by his girlfriend. Maybe some of you can relate. So let's try this. So I've done this. The first thing I want to do is I want to mount the head to the body. Now this is important because, let me get this screw out of here. It's important because on anything I build, any kind of character build, any kind of, even when I'm building a truck or a car, placement is everything. If I put his head back here, he looks dorky. If I put his head up there, it doesn't work. You want to put his head, and obviously this one goes in the middle, but character is everything and placement. So it's real critical to get them put in the right place. So what I've done is I built a couple of these tabs, and I kind of did a little prep work because there's a lot that goes into it. I don't know how far we'll get tonight, but there's a lot of prep work that goes into it that I just don't think is interesting. So I make these ahead of time. These are going to bolt onto here. This is where we're going to weld some stuff together. So I'm going to teach you how to weld. I'm going to teach you how to sew. I'm going to teach you how to drink beer. So stay tuned because all of those things are really fun. What do we got going on here? I don't know if you can hear that. That is the compressor. So the compressor is ready to go now. It's on. It's always on. So when it leaks, it just turns back on. Got a little leak. It's old timing. It's old. Just like me. Leaks a little. Just like me. All right, so I'm going to put this on there. Let me grab a screwdriver. Tighten this up a little bit, and I'll show you what we're doing. Okay, so I got these two little tabs, and I built this little tab. We're going to weld these two tabs onto here so that it mount, and then I can screw it down and then it'll rotate. So we could actually make him sit up straight like that, or we could make him go down like that. So we'll see. Hey, Officer Paul Blart, what's up? I don't know. Me. And it's late. It's only 6:15. So let's do this. First of all, we need to drill 2 holes in this that's going to screw down into the top so that then I'm going to weld it, because if I weld it on first, it's going to be very hard to drill those holes with those 2 tabs sticking up. So the other thing I got is I take these old screws. I like using old screws. Sometimes I take new screws. Hey, good. God's Thumbs TV. Right on. Woohoo! Let's do the dance. All right. So what I do is I take these screws. You see that? There we go. These are little tiny screws. Maybe I can show you. That what I do is I take the torch and I heat them up, and it burns off the shininess of them, and then they become, and then I let them sit around, they get rusty. So then they match the patina of the rest of my stuff. I like patina. I use everything that's old and rusty. That's kind of my gig. If it's shiny, I like it old and shiny. I like pits in the chrome. I like rust. So I like things, and I like working with things that are vintage. Mostly metal, but wood, even old things that are plastic. These 2 knobs are old off of an old radio, but they're great. They're like that Bakelite. and I love it. And they're still in good shape, and we're gonna make these feet. So we're gonna see how this goes. Here we go. I wanna drill 2 holes in this, which I don't know how I'm gonna do that on camera, so I'm probably just gonna have to do it. You guys are gonna have to trust me, and we'll go from there. How do you guys like the music? Is the music good? Silky sent me here, stopping by to show some love. I'll be lurking, watching some football. All right, man. Cool. Silky's the man. I have not been on his channel yet. I'm going to get on his channel, and I'm going to check him out too. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. And then we'll see how that goes. And then we'll see how that goes. All right. So we got the drill bits here. Now, I just want to be a little bit bigger than that one. So that's all, just a little bit. Doesn't need to thread into there. Just needs to be a little bit bigger so that it goes in nice. So this is the one. So the best way to do it to show you guys is to do it with a hand drill. Now usually I'd probably break it over into the drill press, but since it's a little one, we can do it right here. Pull out my drill hole rod holder and grab. Always want to clamp stuff down because it can go everywhere. What kind of welder are you using? Tonight we're going to use a MIG welder, and MIG is MIG. It stands for metal inert gas. So it's called a wire feed welder. A lot of people call it a wire feed. And what it does is it spits out the wire through the middle of your handle at the same time. So as that gas as the rod is touching the metal and melting whatever you're making contact with, there's a gas that comes out around it and keeps the metal from getting contaminated by the oxygen in the air. And so that gas is around it while it's cooling. And it only takes a couple split seconds for it to cool, to get to be hard. It's just molten metal liquid for, I don't know, about 2 seconds at the most. And then it solidifies real quick. So as you're welding along, it kind of just gives it a little protection as you're going along. And then as soon as you are done welding, that gas goes away and the weld is solid. So it works pretty good. But there's also TIG welder. I'll show you that probably in some other episodes. TIG welder is tungsten inert gas, and that is one that you see most of the professionals use. And if you're doing any kind of badass welding where you want real good looks quality, then you'll use a TIG welder, because you can make these little tiny, they call it dimes, just spitting out dimes. It's really cool. So we're going to drill 2 holes in here. I don't know if you could see that. Maybe I was in the way. But we had a successful hole that was drilled. Go for the next one. Let's see. Yeah, there's no way to show it to you. We're working on camera angles, so we'll get some different camera angles going on later, and try to make it so that it's more maybe visible to see what I'm doing. Overhead's great, but not quite exactly what we want. So we got 2 holes drilled in our little tab. Now, we're going to put this on the top of the box. I'm going to take the placement of this and see where I want his chin to actually be. So now I'm gonna work on where I want his chin to be. That's kind of the important thing. I want him to be able to bend down or have his head come pretty far down, but I also don't want, see how that, you see that? If I go too far, then it hits his chin. So we're not gonna go that far, but we are gonna cheat it a little bit to the front. I like his neck to be coming out kind of in the center, but this is pretty close. Okay. Now we're gonna weld this to these two tabs right here so that we make a little bracket that holds this lamp in place. So, then we're gonna put all this away, put my hole drill piece of wood away. We'll turn on the welder. So this one's quiet compared to my other one. This runs off of 220 electricity. Most people have it in their house. If you don't, you can use a 110 welder out of a regular outlet, but they don't seem to have the power enough to weld any substantial piece of metal. Little tiny sheet metal you can weld with it, but I've never seen a welder that works really well off of 110. So if you're gonna get into welding, get yourself a 210, 220 welder, 221, whatever it takes. Okay, so I do things differently here. So what you usually will see is when guys are welding, and it happens with bigger things too, not on small little pieces, but on bigger pieces, the guy will clamp one end into the metal. He'll put the negative ground, which is this thing right here. This is the negative ground going to my welder. So this, I have it going to my table. So my whole table is live. So what happens is now when I take this, and if I touch this, pull the trigger and touch it at the same time to the table, it'll weld the table anywhere I go. Just, it'll run a whole piece of string of metal everywhere. So, only when I pull the trigger. So we're safe, don't worry. So, anything I have on here, I can weld to. I can weld this, I can weld, and if I want to weld this to this, I just have to do that because the wrench is already touching the table. So it all works pretty well. The only time it doesn't work well is if you have rusty. See how rusty this pair of pliers is? This, when I put it down on the table, it won't make a good enough ground. The rust will not conduct a good enough electricity to get it through to the metal. So if I wanted to weld two pieces of rusty metal together, I can't do it. It doesn't work. What you have to do is you have to take a grinder, and I got a bunch of grinders over here. You take a grinder and you grind off the rust, make a little shiny spot on the metal. And you do that on both pieces. That's where you make contact with the welder, and that's where the metal wants to join. And that's the best way to make a solid weld. A rusty weld will not hold. It won't even look. It looks crappy. And it welds crappy. It sputters and splatters all over the place. So that's another thing. I work with rusty pieces all the time. I'm constantly welding rusty pieces. So you always have to scrape off that metal and get a shiny little spot to weld on. But you don't want to take off too much metal because I'm going to turn that rust or turn that shiny piece back into rust. So I have some chemicals that I do and I cheat so that when I do make something shiny or when I have a new piece, we'll do it with this piece right here. After I'm done, we'll make it look ancient in 30 seconds. But when you do that, I have to make it look good. So it's a few extra steps. It's pretty cool. But okay, so now I'm going to leave this lamp on here because I got this all tied in. So I'm going to leave this lamp on here when I weld. So it will splatter a little bit. to get a good welding helmet. Wow, you can't see anything with it. Anyway, and what you want to do, I don't know how you're going to be able to see this very well. I'm going to actually block this weld, and then this piece will block this weld. Got to make sure I got the right settings on there. So you can adjust your welder for thicknesses of metal and how fast the wire comes out. The hotter the weld you're doing, the thicker the piece of steel, the more metal you want to come out faster. So here we go. I don't know how much you're going to see of this, but just know that I'm doing it. That was just a tack weld real quick. One more. Side. Just to hold it while, in case we get it welded in the wrong spot, we could still just bend it a little bit to hold it. Okay. Turn it around. I'm going to tack the other side. What we've done is we've made that bracket that's going to screw down to the top of the box. Now, all I've done is tack it. So just to make sure that it's straight and it looks good and everything else. Lower gains started following. Woohoo! Don't have the emotes yet, so that's all you get. Sorry. You can unfollow and then follow me back later and get the better one. Okay. Now we're going to unscrew this little bracket that I made so I can weld the rest of it. It's hard to get to with this lamp on there. I built my shop in like 2007. This is it's connected to the back of my house. So about 1,000 square foot, and it's pretty fun. I spend a lot of time out here. A lot. All right. By the way, this thing's hot. So, yeah. That's why it's a little hard. My hat in the way. Oh, I just broke the weld. I didn't tack it good enough. That's what happened. All right, so let's put it back together. We're going to have a lot of failures, so if you guys are disappointed in me right now, get used to it. There'll be a lot of these. Do you have any big project for the house? Can you give me more detail on that? Like what I'm doing on the house? Chaos trouble. I got it! Woohoo! Welcome to the club. All right, I gotta tack this again. Big projects for the house, you say? Well, it needs to be tented for termites. Not something I'm gonna do. Let's see, what else? It needs to be painted.
I think he just means the shop. Like, because you were saying how the shop's attached to the house.
Okay.
He means like projects for like the shop. Like, we're gonna make it better at all, or...
I am constantly evolving this shop, yes. So if that's what you mean, absolutely. I am always always doing new things to this shop, changing it, trying to make it more efficient. I could do a whole time on how all the little details I've made, all these little weird things. I don't know if you can see this hose right here. Yeah, that is for welding. And I could show you. Anybody want to see it? All right, so this hose is on a pulley, and it comes down and sits right by the table. And this, when I'm doing a lot of welding, I can turn on this fan, and this thing is connected to a vent fan up in my rafters up here, and then it goes and it sucks a lot. Like it has really good suction, and it takes all the smoke out of the area when I'm welding a lot. Because when I'm welding a lot, sometimes if I forget to turn it on, it's just a big old haze in here. But that thing was hard to design. You may not know by looking at it, but I have to do it to where it stays out of my way, where it's not in my way or hitting my head. I hit this a lot right here. This hits a lot, but it's pretty crazy. So Lopey Dopey says hi, Spencer. Officer Paul Blart says hi, Spencer. Lower Games is Monkey. That's a nice hose. Thank you, Paul Blart. Not so bad yourself. So anyway, I've done a ton of things like that to the house, to my shop, and to the house that make it more acceptable and way easier to, more efficient and easier to manage, because I am what you would call an efficiency expert. That's my own title. I don't have any certification on that, but that's what I've titled myself. I am all about efficiency and making things happen as easy and painless as possible. So what I'm doing is tweaking this just a little bit so I can re-weld it just in the right spot to get it all dialed in nicely. Bunch of test fits. Make sure that when his head's sitting there, that it's straight. It doesn't look crooked. I think we're pretty good. So I'm going to tack weld it again. All right, contact. How's that look on the screen? Anybody? Does that look good? Does it? You see sparks going everywhere? By the way, I think on TV you can look at this without a helmet, so don't put on sunglasses or anything. I think you're safe. I did not go to welding school. I am self-taught. I went to the only class I took metal shop in high school. That's where I learned kind of to weld basic. But that was in 1984. Yeah, I know. And so a lot of things are different back then when I learned, but it was pretty cool. That's what got my interest going. That's where I just became obsessed with welding. It's fascinating to me that you could take two pieces of metal, join them, and fuse them together. Like wood, you use nails to connect it together, but melting metal together is extremely. Looks weldy. Sparkles. Weldy. Wedley. Welding. All right. Well, yeah. That's a great description there, Paul Blart. Great description. Your mom would be proud of you. for that comment. All right, now see, now the bolt's a little stuck in there because you gotta, when you heat things up, another thing, you're gonna learn a lot of things. I'm gonna talk a lot of boring stuff maybe, but when you weld, you heat up the metal. You're heating it up, a lot of it, to red hot. So what that does is that makes the metal warp sometimes and tweak and turn. So every time that, and it's hot too, I'm burning my hands right now. Every time you weld something, you heat it up and it gets a little out of shape, disfigured. So then you go back and you have to bend it back and make it good again. All right, so here's our bracket. I don't know if you can see it very well. Got it tack welded. I'm going to weld the rest of it together. And what I'm going to do is put this bolt through there, and that's going to keep the alignment so that when I do keep these two pieces up, that the bolt still wants to go through. It's a little tight right now. That'll keep it going through. All right, so now I can just hold it any way to weld it. As long as this piece is touching the table, anywhere like that, then it'll make contact. Let's see. Ooh, is that weldy? Looked weldy from here. All right, now on this side, here we go, back at it. See that? We're gonna have to get a close-up camera. There we go. Anyway, there's our bracket. So what are we taking? Half an hour to make a bracket. Well, we're making progress. That's what it's all about. All right. Now it's probably too hot to touch right now. I know it is. And it will be for a while. So what we can do is we can start working on other stuff while this thing cools. And my bolt is kind of stuck in there, but it's still floating around. Yeah, it's gonna be nice. Okay. Here's the thing. Now we're gonna work on the arms. So here's what I've thought about for the arms. Now, this is a door handle off an old truck. And actually, it's a door handle off a 63 International Harvester. The reason I know that is because it's off of my old truck. So it's broken right here and unusable again. So there's nothing I can do about it. Is there anyone that you look up to or admire based on their art or just who they are? Oh, yeah. So there's a guy named Theo Jansen, and he is an amazing artist. He has built these sculptures that they walk themselves. They're powered by the wind, and they're built on recycled bamboo and water bottles, used water bottles. And the wind powers them and makes them, and they actually walk across the sands of the beach. And it's absolutely fascinating. And there's a couple other guys, and I can't think of his name right now, but Arthur Ganson makes amazing stuff. He'll take one recycled piece and build a whole giant sculpture around it that moves, and it's all based on one little recycled piece. It's fascinating stuff that he does. Really just blows my mind. Arthur Ganson, he's my all-time favorite, and he's made his pieces make such a statement. I don't know even how he could do that. But what goes on in that guy's mind is just insane. Okay. Anyway, yes. Yes. Chaos, trouble. The sparks do hurt your hands. And they hurt every part of your body if you don't have it protected. My hands are, I don't know if you can see them, but they got a bunch of marks on them. Yes, they do get burns all over the time. I do have a pair of gloves right here in the drawer that I rarely use. I don't know why. It's just kind of easier to do things. And you know what? If I use gloves, I wouldn't burn myself as much either. So, but what you'll see is my shirts right here all have holes in them from the welding, the sparks. I have a bib overall that I wear, which I probably should have it on right now, but I wasn't going to do. It's not a whole lot of welding today. If I was doing a lot of welding, I would definitely have the whole garb on, because yeah, it gets sore after a while. Your stomach, you start to feel it on your stomach. Cinnamon spider taste. Woohoo! Is that getting disturbing yet? Should I come up with a new one? Well, thanks for following Cinnamon Spider Taste. Love it. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, we're talking about holes in my bib, my shirt. I go through a lot of shirts because the sparks right here, coming right off the table, usually just blast the shirt, and it just gets completely holy right in here. It's nuts. But they're cheap shirts. And if I have a bib on, it makes my shirts last at least a few weeks. All right, where were we? Oh yeah. So I got these two door handles. And when I said they're off my truck, I also restore old classic cars and trucks and fix them up, hot rod them out, and then sell them. We drive them around for a while, so it's pretty fun. I like it. That's kind of my other job, hobby slash whatever you want to call it. So I got a lot of things. I got a lot of ovens and a lot of different fires. And, well, I mean, that's just what makes it fun. So this is off of one of my old trucks, and these two are broken. They're unusable. Okay, side note. I make art out of recycled parts, out of old used parts, discarded parts, wrenches. See this little tiny wrench? My hand is not just huge. It's just a little tiny wrench. And just like I said, all these old tools, right? It's a pair of pliers. I don't think anybody's going to miss it when I use it. But when you get down to car parts, there's people restoring classic cars all the time. I know, because I do that. And here's where I have this big dilemma about things. Am I taking something that can still be used to restore a car and turning it into art? And now there's some guy that's looking for the very last door handle for his 63 International Harvester and can't find one. And here I am putting it on the arms of a robot. So yeah, I mean, I think about that all the time. And what I try to do is these two right here are not usable again. The forge is cracked, so there's no way you could fix this, or else I would have fixed it and used them. So they're junk, but I can still use them for art. So that's how I think about it. And when I see guys making benches out of the tailgates of trucks, I think they look great, but it drives me nuts because somebody's looking for a tailgate for their truck and they can't find it. And so it's kind of a bummer, you know? It's kind of, I go round and round with it. I will not personally use those parts to make art. I will make sure always that what I'm using cannot be reused for the most part. Here's a lamp, okay? Let's talk about this. Here's a lamp that came off of a bike. It's kind of still usable. Now it has a whole bunch of dings in it right here. the glass itself has a big crack in it, but it still works. But am I taking it out of circulation for somebody trying to restore their old beach cruiser? I might be, and that's where I have the problem. I go, well, it's cracked lens. You can't get that lens anymore. It's all beat up. I don't think anybody's going to want to restore their bike with it, but I don't know. And then I don't know how many are still out there. So I go through that all the time. This little timer box. Probably you never see another one on the earth. They're probably all gone, thrown away, or whatever. Now, that's fine because they're not any historical value to them, so it doesn't really matter. But when you take them out of commission, then there's no more. And at some point, there's going to be no more. There's going to be no more headlamps. There's going to be no more of these. My art might have the very last one. I don't know. But that's where it's a real fine line that I walk. Other artists I know I've talked to walk the same line where we go, I don't know what we want to do. Do we want to use that piece? Do we not want to use that piece? It's tough, and I don't want to take anything out of circulation. So that's why. Just
You want some company?
hello.
I brought donuts.
Oh, she brought donuts. I told her in the text if she could come in and raid me. This is my wife, Adria.
Donuts and wine.
Woo! AZ James 66. Woohoo! Arizona James.
Is this what we do?
Woohoo! And by the way, I'm gonna live stream. Try every Thursday. Oh my gosh, she brought donuts. I haven't had donuts.
Well, you
Wow.
like his favorite is chocolate
Oh,
old
and my son.
fashioned. They didn't
Spencer's.
have chocolate old fashioned
This is my payment.
donut. You can have the first choice.
Oh, really?
Well, you can't have the
Okay, watch out. I'm gonna.
Okay, yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Well, I'll look away.
Oh, there's enough chocolates. I can take it. Unless you're gonna eat
Wow.
all of them.
We have donuts.
You want one now?
That's kind of.
Yeah, donuts.
Good donut.
You want one now? Are you talking?
Yeah, if I talk with chocolate,
Okay.
that'll be
Are you using this chair?
probably be nasty. No, I'm not.
I'll use it.
Oh, okay. Help yourself.
Unless you want me to leave.
No.
What have you done? Are you welding yet?
I did. I welded a bracket.
That's all you
I see. This okay. This is what I was telling him and everybody else that it takes a long time to do these things. Plus, I'm talking to people, and it takes a long time to make things for this. It doesn't
What does
just
the bracket have to do with the?
this bracket is going here, and this is going to hold his head like that.
Oh, it's a he?
Yeah.
What is he?
He's going to be a sad robot.
Oh, why is he gonna be sad?
He's going to be sad because his girlfriend dumped him.
Oh, okay.
So,
That makes sense.
so yeah, he's going to be sad, and his arms, in his one arm, he's going to be holding a rose or a bouquet of flowers.
Aww.
It's going to be like,
Are you gonna like
Holding
cut
it
out
up.
the flowers out of like metal? And
I'll make metal
Oh
flowers.
my god.
Yeah.
Alright.
I probably won't get that far tonight, so I'm just telling you. I don't know if we'll finish this thing.
Well, you probably won't be able to sell it because I want to keep it.
Yeah, I know. I make a lot of stuff, and it ends up in our house, and she won't let me sell it.
Well,
So this is supposedly going up, and this will go for sale at some point, but we'll see how that actually goes. Because I gotta sell this one. I gotta sell it to maybe somebody that's watching right now. Wouldn't that be cool if they see this and they want to buy it? Huh?
we'll see. I'll see how it turns out. Oh, I win.
What do you mean we'll see how it turns out? It's gonna turn out great.
Let's see what you're gonna do.
All right, now we got this set. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drill right through both of these. Now this bolt should go in a little bit easier. On the nut, the other side. Yeah. Done welding, I could probably get rid of this. Very important, very important. Get yourself a good welding helmet. They have them now for $30. I've seen a welding helmet. Do not buy a $30 welding helmet. I would not spend less than $200 on a welding helmet. I buy a $350 welding helmet.
Remember that guy?
Everything
That guy
is,
that with cataracts?
yeah. So everything is about your eyes. If you want to, like I said, I've been doing it for 40 years. I still have eyesight. It's harder to see at night than probably everybody else, but
You never told me that.
okay.
I've been-
Maybe you should go then.
Okay.
No, okay. Yes, it's a lot harder to see at night than it used to be, but I'm looking at bright flashes all the time. Not on purpose.
Tell them the story about the guy the welder that fixed your car.
So back in 1991, I was driving my Toyota Land Cruiser, pulling a U-Haul trailer back from Colorado, which I lived for a year and a half, and the trailer hitch broke on the way home. I did not weld it. A buddy of mine welded it at the time for me because he was a trailer hitch guy, and it broke. Slammed. I'm going down the 15 freeway in the middle of nowhere by St. George, Utah, and it got slammed. So I'm sitting there, don't know what to do. I undo the trailer. It pretty much survived because I had the two chains. So when the hitch broke, it kind of slammed into the back of my truck, but then I was able to get it off to the side of the road. I'm 20 miles out in the middle of nowhere. I turn back around. I leave the trailer there. I turn back around. I drive to St. George, Utah, and I find a welder because it's a Sunday. I find, and at the time, he was probably 68, 70 years old. He's a welder.
He seemed old when you told me the story the first time, but now I'm like, oh, he wasn't that old.
When I told it 20 years ago, yeah, he was old.
Now that we're old.
So I'm sitting there and I said, hey, can you weld my hitch back together? And he goes, yeah. Now when I first met him, he's got cataracts in his eyes. So I don't know if you know what cataracts are, but it looks like he has, how do you explain it?
They look demonic,
fish eyes.
possessed.
They kind of they look
white.
like fish eyes, where they kind of just like are. There's no color in them anymore. They're all just dark. And he goes, yeah, I'll weld your thing. So I stand there. His wife comes out because they were eating lunch, and they're the nicest, sweetest couple ever. And they're making, and he's welding, and we're sitting there, standing there, and she's offering me food. He gets under my truck and just squints his eyes and starts welding. Nothing. Sparks are flying on his face. You're not supposed. Okay, I don't know if you're supposed to. If you guys know, but you're not supposed to look at a weld. It will wreck your eyes. And what'll happen is if you just get the little sparks, if you just like get one little flash, that's fine. Probably won't have any problem. But a bunch of flashes, if you try to weld without eye protection, it's like looking at the sun. What's going to happen is you're going to wake up in the middle of the night and it's like somebody's throwing sand in your eyes. It's just so bad. I know this because it's happened. I thought I was good. I thought I had a good.
Did you have a $30
I had a
helmet?
$30 helmet, and it does make a difference. So don't get the $30 helmet. And so he was under my thing, welding and just squinting the whole time, just welding. Uh-oh.
It's fine.
So he's just under my thing welding, and I'm talking to his wife. I go, he's not wearing any eye protection. He goes, yeah, he hasn't worn eye protection since 1942 or whatever. And she goes, he can't see shit at night. Nothing. Can't see anything. All he can do is barely see anything in the daytime. So in the daytime, he could look at the sun, and it wouldn't be effective. But after all these years, that's what it does. Just wrecks your eyes. So back to it. Get yourself a good welding mask. Always, always. And don't just, okay, a lot of the other things are when you tack weld. So what tack welding is, you just go and you go zzz, real quick, zzz, zzz, and you tack everything down, you hold it down together so that you can come back and then weld it. Because when you tack weld something, if you have 4 corners, you want to tack weld it, and you don't want to weld the whole corner because it heats it up and then the whole thing will start to tweak. If you're making a square, it'll bend. So you tack all 4 corners and then you weld a little bit here and a little bit there, and you keep working on it because, like I said, the metal heats and it warps and it changes. So, where was I? Oh yeah, when you're tack welding, you don't want to, it's kind of a pain in the butt to put your helmet down every time, and you go, zzz, 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 but do it. A lot of people will just kind of squint. I look away. So I close my eyes, because putting your helmet up and down is a lot of work. It's worth it though, believe me. It's it's definitely worth it. What's the most expensive, important tool that you have in your shop? Well, I'd say the most important tool is well, she is a tool.
Maybe.
I don't know if she's the most expensive tool. I don't know about the most important.
That's true.
Okay. This 4.5-inch angle grinder, the cutoff wheel. It cuts metal and it cuts it like nothing. It's so awesome. It's the best thing ever. I use it hundreds of times a day. If I wanted to cut into this box, I'd use this and I'd just cut into it. If I wanted to cut this handle in half, I'd use it to cut it in half. I mean, it just works with everything. The other thing that is this Dremel. I don't know if you can see it, but it hangs, have it suspended because it's on a flexible shaft. So this thing's foot operated. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's a grinding wheel, it's a cutoff wheel. You can have a lot of different attachments to it. But when I'm doing little fine stuff, they're going to be. So when I'm doing little fine stuff and I want to grind this little weld right here and shape this, I'll use this thing. It's a mini version of the big cutoff wheel. Everything, shape, metal. I have other grinders with different wheels on them to take off different amounts of metal. But this is the key too, right here. So this is hanging because it's on a flexible shaft. So at any given area, I can use it, and the motor is detached from the handle, which makes it a lot more compact, easier to use, get into tight spaces. I put this on this hanger, and okay, this is one of those things I was telling you about. I'm all about efficiency and function. So this thing can sit right on the corner of my table, right there, and it's just a grab away. And I have a foot pedal that I can use for it, and it's on a hanger, and then the hanger is on a spring. So if I want to go way over here and use it on something, it'll flex this bunch, but it's on a spring. It pulls itself back into place on its own. So it's something I designed and made. I don't know if you can't really see it. There's a little spring on here. I got welded bearings in here that it rotates on, and I love it. It works great. It's one of those useless inventions. It works for me. Everybody goes, "Oh, you should sell it." I don't know. Works for me. So where were we? What were we talking about?
You're making a robot.
I'm making a robot.
You're supposed to be making a robot.
Yeah, see, this is why I'm like, okay, this is going to take a little while. All right, so now we want to do, well, this is probably cool now. Let's go back to the head and get the head. Now, let's mount the head, because I think that's going to be the key to making this robot have some character. I want to make it so that his head droops low enough so that he looks sad and not just that he's looking down. There's a difference.
He reminds me of the one, I don't know if it's MGM or...
The Pixar?
Oh, is it Pixar?
Is it a Pixar lamp?
Yeah, and he runs off.
The
at
one that
movie.
hops?
Yeah, he hops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. This is my own idea.
I know, I'm sorry. I didn't, like, I mean,
I know.
it's nothing like
Yeah,
it.
you know what? I mean, everybody's idea comes from somebody else's idea. So, I mean, there's rarely original ideas like you think, oh, yeah, I thought of that. There's nobody else in this 4 billion plus world that ever thought of it. Yeah. So, everybody's idea seems like it's their own, but it's probably. Okay. So, I think I like this lamp with his neck way forward, which is more than I expected. I didn't expect him to go that far forward, but that's all right. So I'm going to mark these 2 holes where we're going to drill. Now, some hard metal. Take the back off first. That'll probably make it a little bit easier. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry.
This one or yeah, this one. I'll use this one.
Let me see if I can say what kind of tool that is. That is,
This?
yes, some form of flathead screwdriver.
Yes, a mini flathead screwdriver, I guess. Like I said, I'm self-taught, so I've named my own tools. I don't know what a lot of them are supposed to be called, but we'll go with flathead mini screwdriver.
Have something.
We have the dogs. The dogs are here.
Here. No. No.
So this is Newman. Hi, Newman.
Hi.
How you doing, buddy? What up? There we go. This is Newman. And then Norma, you can't see. She's a mini version of Newman. These are our dogs.
Oh,
They are.
hi.
They're wonderful dogs. I guess I have to say that. Sometimes they really. By the way, if you guys want to ask any questions at all, feel free. It doesn't have to be on metal shop relationship advice. I can tell you how to place your bet at the racetrack. I can tell you how to make a right Mai Tai. So I have some skills, other categories, but
Can I ask a question?
okay. Why do I feel like this is a setup? That is some hard metal.
I got a good
This
question.
is cold metal. I love this. So much better. If this was a newer piece, not even be close to this hard to drill through. Sheet metal, but it's 10 gauge. It's huge. That's awesome.
It's an art that I'm proud of. I have one that you like then ask your
Yeah. My third surfboard. So paddle hard number 3.
oh the wine barrel.
Wine barrel. Oh no. That was number 2. The license plate was number 3. Yeah,
Which
the wine
one?
barrel. Number 2. Paddle hard number 2. It flashes down there. It was a 9-foot high surfboard.
Pull it up and like put it on.
Yeah.
Oh, you can?
I didn't.
Okay. It was a 9-foot high. It's in my. It's on the desktop. It was a 9. Okay, I'll just explain it.
Maybe not. I didn't realize you would cut to it.
It was a 9-foot high surfboard that I made. It was in the real shape of a longboard. It had a rocker. It was as best to the dimensions of a real surfboard, and it was made out of wine barrel staves. And so if you know a wine barrel, the wine barrels are curved. The staves on a wine barrel are all curved all the way around the barrel. So trying to get a flat-looking surfboard out of that was, it boggled my mind for months. I think it took me 6 months of designing it, pulling it apart, putting it back together, trying this, trying that, before I came up with a design that worked, that gave it the shape that I wanted. And it was just so hard. It was just because what I do is, one of the things that I like to do most is make a piece of art and not show too many bolts or welds, so that people wonder how it's connected. People go, oh, how did you make that? How is that being held together? So it's pretty good. Dr. Sci-Fi, woohoo! Do.
Oh,
That was it. Okay, well, Dr. Sci-Fi, we don't have emotes and things yet, so that's what you get. You get a dance.
what are emotes?
I'm not really sure either. I might not even be saying the right word. All right.
You're a new Twitcher.
I am brand new. This is my first one ever. I don't even know if it's going good or not. Probably only know next few days, I guess. Next time I do it.
You better come
If
back.
people come back. All right, we're gonna mount this finally onto here. Now I'm gonna do one thing. Remember I told you I heat up nuts and burn them off. Now I have these two looking washers here and here. I don't want them to look. If I put them on here, they're gonna look all shiny. I don't know if you can see that, but a little shiny metal washer on an old vintage looking. I want the whole robot to look old. So I want to.
Dr. Sci-Fi says you have a good setup.
Oh, thanks. It's original. We're still working on it.
Yeah. Don't even get me started.
Alright, so here's what I do. I go over. This little sheet right here is what I do all my heating up of my little nuts and bolts. And I can give you a little sample of what I gotta do. Now I'm not gonna do the nuts because the nuts are gonna go on the inside. You're not gonna see the washers. And take them, put them on this piece of metal, and take this torch. It's just
Is it a helmet?
no. And I'm gonna heat this up until they turn brown. They'll turn red like that. And that burns off all of the galvanized and chrome that's on there. And it makes a lot of smoke. That's why you turn this thing on, see? Told you. That had some kind of oil on it from before. So that's no problem. I got a fire extinguisher right over there. Okay. So when these cool, and I can make them cool a lot quicker if I get them off of there. Now see how they're black now? I don't know how much you can see. They're black.
On the donut, right?
It'll melt the donut.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't want to break the
Oh.
donuts.
Well, I just say the white. Against the white. Ooh, take it a chance. Take it a chance.
Surfboard, Dad.
That's the license plate, sir.
That's the license plate, sir. So yeah, there they are. So I've got all the stuff burnt off of them now. They're probably cool. Okay, they're cool. So I got this little secret sauce that I spray on them now.
I'm not. Really?
You know what?
I'll try it.
These turn black, and I like them. It looks kind of, and they'll kind of change colors as they cool. So we're going to use them just like that for the sake of, it's not going to take much longer. We don't want to take it anymore. So I'm going to put these screws through here. We're going to actually attach this guy. I got to just clean up these holes. Hold on. Nuts on the bottom.
That's what she said.
See, can't have dogs in the house. All right, 2 nuts on them, and then we're going to take a look and see how his head looks. So, by the way, I took all the guts out of this timer box ahead of time. I cut those little tabs ahead of time, and I've done a lot of looking around for the right parts for this. So I've already got probably 2 hours into this piece, trying to get things figured out. So there's another 2 hours that I've already got onto it, but you know, it's fun, but it just takes a while.
Dr. Sci-Fi wants to know if you sell art pieces when you're done, or if they live around our house.
Well, if you would have heard earlier, yes, there's a lot of them around our house that after I make them, she claims them.
Yeah.
But
First dibs.
they're all intended to go on my website, and there's a link on my page, on the Twitch page, that I did personally, so I was pretty proud that I linked my website. So if you go to my home page and go to the About page or something like that, you'll find the link, and most of those pieces you see will be on the website. Plus, you'll see all the cars that I'm always building and selling, along with some projects that, you know, that aren't showing up in this little slideshow, because that's not all of them. But Derek McDonald Artworks, that's my Instagram, that's my YouTube, that's everything. That's my website, DerekMcDonaldArtworks.com. All right. Well,
Who Just Arted is your
who just arted? It's my alter ego.
alter ego.
Yeah. By the way, if you just joined in, my name is actually Derek McDonald. It's not Who Just Arted. I don't know if you guys figured that out by now. Look at, okay, so we have the head on our robot. So he's gonna be like that, and he's gonna look all sad. It's funny when I go, oh, he's gonna look all sad. I start saying sad. So this is the inside of the box. It had a bunch of timers and stuff in there I had to take apart. I wanted to keep the switches and the timer plate in there so that the front's got a great patina. I don't know if you can see it, all the rust on it, just all the scratches. This is the stuff I like. This robot just looks like he's just been through the ringer.
Like Wally.
Totally, just like Wally.
That's my favorite movie. My favorite kid movie.
It's such
Not
a
my
great
favorite
movie.
movie.
All right, well, we're going to leave the back off for now, because now we're going to put these arms on them. Now, I would say, his arms go probably up by his shoulder, which is good because we got this plug right here, and I'd hate to have to take it out and work around it, so it works out good that we can put the arm up here. And I think that arm, this little piece is going to go inside, so it's going to look probably pretty close to like it's supposed to. He's going to look, I think it's going to look fantastic.
Dr. Sci-Fi checked out your site. He said, awesome site, love the slingshots.
Oh, yes.
And we just had Los Angeles Comic-Con, and we had Wally there. Oh, that's so cool.
That's
He's
awesome.
adorable. Yeah, Wally is. He's like,
I want to make a Wally.
I can't rewatch a lot of movies because, you know, once I've seen them, but Wally is a movie I have literally been able to watch multiple times. I think the creator, whoever wrote it, just really had some foresight into the human mind and like what, you know, what's becoming of us in our strive to make everything easy. Like my husband, he likes to make everything efficient and easy and work well, but like there's a point where obviously it didn't go well for our world.
All right, so I got
Wally
this
brought it back.
marked. I'm going to drill another hole in there, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try maybe a sharper bit. Can I come over here? We're going to try a little bit sharper bit. Maybe it'll dig through this thing. It's got to be a pretty big hole for this, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with a smaller hole just to get it. All right, now I'm going to use what's called a step bit. And a step bit is just what it's called.
Silky Johnson says you're killing it and he loves the setup.
Oh,
Looks great.
thank you very much, Silky.
Oh, and Dr. Sci-Fi, he said I guess at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Comic-Con, he said, see people melt when they see Wally.
He's on my make
Some
list too.
pictures.
There's my surfboard, by the way.
Yeah, there it is. That's the one that I.
That's the
there
other.
it is.
That's how it looks from like the top view looking down.
That's the
So
wine barrel.
it's kind of, it looks solid from the front, but when you look at it from the side, it's kind of translucent.
So, Dr. Sci-Fi, you have a make list. Are you a metal artist too? Are you gonna make Wally? I think that's what you mean by
Yeah.
he's on my make list.
Yeah, what do you do? What kind of art do you make? All right, so what I have is a
Or
step bit.
maybe just
So this is got different steps. I built droid puppets from Star Wars. No way, that's rad. Oh, okay, I'll follow you. I'm gonna check you out after the show. That's awesome.
yeah, that's
There's so much Star Wars I'm finding out on Twitch. It's so rad. Some dude was making a 3D printed Mandalorian. From the Mandalorian, he made Boba Fett. It was rad helmet.
Wow.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll have to check it out too.
so I got a little small hole, and I want to make it this size. I don't know if you can see, but it's got to be quite a bit bigger. So this is a step bit, and it drills a perfect hole. When you drill a bigger hole, if you take a bigger drill bit and you try to drill it into sheet metal, what happens is it kind of gets to be triangular as it's drilling. It doesn't drill a perfectly round hole, and it's annoying, but that's kind of just the way it is. So you use a step bit, and this has different steps, and it makes its own size. Let's see if I can do it and show you. So there, just bit and went to the next size. There, just bit and went to the next size, and you can just keep going until you get to the right size. Now I got about 3 more sizes to get to, but you see, it's making a perfectly round hole, which is nice. There. Woo! And it goes quick. You don't want to go too big. I got a couple more sizes still. You don't want to go too big, because once you go too big, you can't go back. Gotta break out the welder. So you just keep trying.
What's it called?
Step bit. It's got steps in it.
I thought I've seen it all. Once we're at.
Yeah. I think I got one more. So it's easy to go too far, too fast. So here we go. One more. Oh, what? This is bent too big. That's one of the reasons, because it's broken. This piece is broken. So I am going to take it over and put it on my handy dandy little vise over here. Make it a little bit smaller.
Okay.
Fit in.
Hey, it looks like Dr. Sci-Fi sent us a link there so we can check out his latest
I'll
creation.
open it on my phone so you guys can see it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it says a handheld puppet
Alright.
from Star Wars video game.
Wow.
So neat. I'm always amazed at what people can do.
I know. That's so much fun with art. Is there's just so many different avenues. I do metal. There's every single other aspect of it that everybody uses, and it's fantastic. And I'll tell you what,
That made no sense.
I'm gonna talk like a really old guy. I was making art before the internet. And what that means is I was just making art that inspired me from my ideas. I would see a piece of art out in public or on TV. I didn't get exposed to art galleries like I do on the internet now. You can go to any art gallery and do a virtual, and you can see anybody's art. It's fantastic. It's amazing. But before that, you just had to go by what inspired you. I'd see something out in real life, and that would inspire me to make a piece. I would see something here, and that would inspire me to make something. And it would give me ideas. Now, you're exposed to 100 times as many pieces of art in a day than I was exposed to in a year back then. And so now the creative process is just accelerating. Everybody sees somebody else's stuff, and that inspires them to do this, and that inspires them to do that. And I see the art just exploding, just like every other technology, but the art is just exploding because everybody is vibing and being creative off of other people, and it's just fantastic. It is so neat to see, and that's what's really impressive, is how it's just changed. The internet has just changed it so much, made it so much quicker and easier to come up with stuff.
And I think everyone has creativity. I think it's just, creativity is in all venues of life, and like you said, there's plenty of mediums out there to be creative with.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? Here, let me turn off the noisemakers. I don't know if that makes a difference.
Is this Dr.
This is
Dr. quieter now?
Sci-Fi's?
Oh, we're gonna check out that.
Oh my God, there's
Oh, that's Wally.
This is what he made.
Oh my god.
Is that the puppet?
Yeah.
Dude. Okay, you guys got the link. Go check that out. That is amazing.
And then this was like at Comic-Con.
There's Wally.
Yeah. Oh man.
That's a way better Wally than I could.
Your puppet is really
That is
beautiful.
absolutely
Like-
amazing.
Oh, there.
Yeah, that's
Oh, he's
how you
really
operate it.
cute.
Oh wow. Oh, that's so cool. That is awesome.
Yeah, is that the Mandalorian those were in? What was that one? Those little, were they in a, you
I
said
think that one was just from like the later
video
Star
game.
Wars.
It says a video game.
Okay, I'm gonna use my
Star
little
Wars
grinder
video.
now, instead of making this hole bigger, this thing is disshapen, so I'm gonna shape this one instead of, I'm gonna put on a little bit of safety glasses here.
All right, I'm gonna go make some tea.
Okay.
You want some?
I'll take some water. So I'm taking the bigger part of this, just taking a little bit off so that it fits nice into that hole. So the reason I'm doing this and not just making a bigger hole here is because if I make a bigger hole here, it's the next size up is going to be just a little too big. So this now, I just got to take maybe a little bit more off, but you can see he's going to fit nice and snug. And he doesn't, you know, he'll be able to twist and turn. You can turn him and move his arms around, but you can also be able to keep him in one spot, which will look nice. I like them to fit tight. I like to be tight and things not be loose and floppy. Even when I make a robot that is just supposed to be looked at, I like making things that work really well. So I'm going to take a little bit more off. And like I said, with the metal, you don't want to take too much off. You can always go back and take more off, but once you take that much off, you're done. So that's a nice tight fit. Thank you. A nice tight fit. And what it's got, I don't know if you can see it, inside here, there's holes. So all I'm going to do is just stick a pin through there, a little cotter pin, and it's going to hold it in place like it does on the regular door handle. And then it can still turn, and I can put it in different spots. But we got one done. Now we're going to take this off, and we're going to measure exactly where this is so we can get it right on the other side, because nobody likes a misshapen robot. They like symmetry. I like symmetry. I guess here we go again. I like abstract symmetry. So I like abstract that's controlled. I've made a few pieces and sculptures that are just abstract. I love that. But I always have this thing of, if it's going to be abstract, it's got to be balanced abstract. And that's just the way my mind thinks. I know it's left brain, right brain thing, and I just can't get to both of them. It's just too hard to get both of those sides. So my perfectionism is the one side that just always wins out. So that's why I'm gonna have to measure this. And that means I'm gonna have to get an actual ruler. So that one's over here. What does everybody think about that music? Did they even notice it? Can they even hear it? I podcast about making, and we love encouraging others. Each episode, there's so much sharing out there now. Yes, exactly. Totally. I'll have to check out your podcast, man. It's really cool. I love that robot. So we're going to go and measure this guy. And he is 1 1/4 down. And we're going to just go from the front. He's 1 1/2. Gonna go over on this side, and we're gonna go 1 1/4 down the top, and we're gonna go 1 1/2 from the front. That's our mark. That's where he should look the same. He should have 2 straight arms. Ha ha ha! Right. What we can do we can see. So we'll put this one in here. And this one is gonna go right about there. Hey, that looks pretty good. We'll drill this second hole now. Now I'm gonna go back to the little bit because these don't start a hole. You gotta start a hole with another drill bit. These are really hard to start with. You can do it, but it's just easier to do it with a regular drill bit and then throw in your step bit. You okay over there?
Mm-hmm.
You enjoying yourself?
It's Christmas pasta.
And so I'm going to talk about experience again. Make sure your hand and your finger is not underneath where you're drilling through. I have learned that don't want to do that the hard way. Little tip, little Derek tips. Just a tip. Okay.
We're losing viewers. We only have 5 now.
Uh-oh.
We must be boring.
You left. Isn't it right when you got here? Did we go down to 5? So now we're going to use our step bit again.
Oh, did you see that? That's 2.
No wonder you wanted me to get this live stream up so bad.
That's 3.
Here, toss one to me.
One more.
Oh, that's short. Wait. They're a little light. Yes!
Oh,
Well,
one more.
now we're going to go over, while they're having fun doing their own thing, I'm still making a robot over here.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I thought it was going to be a show about me.
You want to catch a popcorn?
it was never going to be.
No, I want to make a robot. I think that's why they're here. I don't know.
Wow.
I got your jeans.
Okay.
Okay, see, I did that. I went one hair too big.
You've been preaching about that the whole time.
Yeah, but it's not bad because I can still tighten it up. It's the only thing is his arm won't stay up. It'll probably fall, but I can fix that when I put the cotter pin inside.
What's a cotter pin?
How you doing, Mr. Cotter? It's a pin. We really do need to get a better cam so that people can see these kind of things. So
Well,
these
you
are
could take that down. I can
these
hold it.
are cotter pins. Let's see.
There you go.
Is that? Can you see that? Oh, there we go.
Now go up.
So these are cotter pins. It's a little pin that it's got 2 straight edges on it, and it's looped. It's kind of like a what'd you say, a paper clip? But then what you do is once it goes through the hole, you take this end and you bend one of them out, and so it can't come back through. So it'll stay in place. Let's see if we can show that to you.
Oh, Dr. Sci-Fi signing off. He says, been great chatting. Gonna go build some Lego with my son.
Awesome.
Yay,
Thanks
good
for coming
you.
in, man.
Legos rule.
Thanks.
We love Lego Masters. Have you guys watched? He's probably gone now, but
Yeah.
we watch Lego Masters.
Totally. Okay, so we're almost. This worked out really good with this pin. So there we go. I don't know if you can see, but I got the pin in there. And I got one piece bent, so now when it turns, it can't come out. But It's a little wobbly.
I haven't watched it yet, but I know the operators who did R2 on their Star Wars episode. No way.
That's awesome.
All that stuff. And we love the host. I can't remember what's his
Will Arnett.
Will
Arnett
Yes.
is a riot. He's a gem. Well, you would get a kick out of the show. It's really good if you get a chance to watch it. Go have fun with your son.
Okay, so working on this. Now what I'm going to do is one of two things. I can either find a washer that goes on this, that takes up that space in there. Hey, look at that. See if that works. Let's see what it does on the inside. I don't think that pin will make it through the hole with the washer on the inside, but we could try. We could try. What I can do, I got a better idea. See, this is where ingenuity comes into play. It doesn't need to be a cotter pin. It can be just an old nail, because I have a nail that's smaller and thinner that now it'll work with this washer.
The serving size is 5 servings per container.
How many of you have?
That's what I'm trying to figure out when I should stop.
Probably should have. I'm not gonna say it. Okay,
Sorry.
there. That one's bent, and that one's bent. So that didn't work though, because it bent the wrong way. What I gotta do is I gotta bend one way and the other way, so that it binds it. Just like flour. So we'll try it again. Gotta put this, now I got it all tweaked. So, and here's where I could go and just grab a new nail, and I don't know why, but I use this now.
Aww. Your son in the corner.
Hey, we got a tip.
It says,
tipped my dad.
I hope you'll pay me back.
No way. I'm gonna frame it. Can I do
Your
that?
first $1.
Awesome.
I didn't know you're set up to do
I
it.
know, yeah, I didn't, that was me testing it right there. I didn't know if it had worked or not.
You gotta set me up because I have some people I need to. Yep.
on Twitch.
Okay,
Watching.
so back to the robot. If you guys are still there. We got,
Well, you have 6 viewers.
all right. So we're trying to get this arm. I messed up. I drilled it a little too big. Now I'm trying to take up the slack.
And I'm perfecting my popcorn
And
catching.
you're perfecting your popcorn catching. So,
Toss one over here. Toss one over here.
if I jam that, there we go. There we go. Beautiful.
I lost it. One
You
more.
did it.
One more.
All right, I did it. So his arm will stay up.
That's good.
Position it anywhere you want it, and it'll still stay down. Now we'll put that other one in. This one was already tight. We don't really have to work on getting it in.
I'm excited for next Thursday. What snacks am I gonna bring?
Well,
Are you gonna like freeze him for next Thursday and continue where you left off?
yeah, I can do that. See if that pin goes right in. No, we're gonna need a thinner one. So these cotter pins come in different sizes. That one's probably, well,
We need new.
just about. Oh, dropped it.
Did you even drink some water yet?
I haven't, no. This is what happens when I get involved in building. I forget about everything.
Yes, you forget nutrition.
Everything.
You forget to go
There'll
potty.
be times I'm out here and she'll bring out lunch and I go, oh my gosh, I didn't realize it was lunchtime. And then she'll bring out dinner and I go, I didn't realize it was dinner time. And then
And I'll come out here and the lunch that I brought him isn't touched and he doesn't even.
yeah.
He forgot I brought him lunch.
So yeah, that happens. Okay, look at that. We got 2 arms.
Oh, he's cute. He's like,
And then his head tilts down so he could be that robot. I think he's gonna look cool. We're getting to the harder part though, because now
You got 20 minutes.
Here's-
We're set to end. You can go past that.
okay.
well, finance is
You
good.
can probably
I
finish
mean,
it tonight.
people
What's
are
that?
You
tired.
can probably finish it tonight.
Yeah, it would get close. So it's gonna be hard to see.
Let's see. Try switching.
Can
Okay.
this is what I was thinking
Anyhow.
of for the feet was on these
that
2
right
bolts.
Is both. You have both
Now
reverse,
obviously
which is just different
I'll
positions.
take the
And then cam 1 is the one in the
I
top
don't know
right.
if you can see it,
Cam 2 is.
but hey, I'm trying to do a show here.
I'm saying it's the one up there.
But
2
I'm
is
not real. I don't know. He looks a little stumpy legged. Maybe.
one.
Let's take
position
the-
down, like that.
Okay. Reason I love these pineapple cans. I'm going to show you why. These
So
are
wide, this
fantastic.
brings
They
the
have
camera out to like a
ridges
wide
on the back of them,
This goes into
underneath them on the metal. That is just
Yeah.
fantastic.
between those 2 buttons.
It's got so much texture and it looks nice and old. Hey
Yeah.
Spencer, yes. Can you do me one favor before you go? Can you go get me 2 of these cans? They're
I thought they were straight outside the.
okay. There's more way in the back of the shop on the shelf that's against the gym,
Yeah.
and just 2 ones that are up about face high.
What?
They're rusty. So here's what I got. I got. What was that?
I'm officially the switcher now. I'm gonna take care of you.
See these cans? I love these cans because they have these ridges. Oh, what are you doing? Don't switch it now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you're fired.
I thought you were showing us.
I am. This is how I'm showing.
Oh, okay.
So these ridges right here are really cool. They kind of look old. They give it a, I don't know, the old coffee can style. And then that's going to look great, probably as his legs. But Spencer,
You have a lot of those cans.
yeah, I know. See, now here's 2 rusted ones. I think the rusted ones. Why does he look like a break dancer?
It's like he's about to swing around.
Whee! So I don't know. What do you think? The rusted ones? Let me get the paper off of this one. I really like them matching. So I think I'm gonna go with the shiny ones because they just match the rest of the. And I'll have to clean these up a little bit nicer too. Okay, there's no reason to be pushing buttons right now. You're good. It's
I'm
good.
just learning.
Well, there's nothing to learn right now. Learn on your own time. But here, okay. Here's what it looks like with the rusted ones, and then if we put these as feet, not that much fatter, so I don't know. Okay, or we can use shiny cans.
I like the shiny.
Yeah, I think the shiny match him better.
And they'll dull up a little bit naturally, right?
The what?
Kind of dull up.
Oh yeah. I have cans of all different. Like this is really rusty. This is really shiny. I have cans back there that are all different levels of rust. So
He's not lying either.
So what we got to do is we got to figure out how to mount these. Now this is going to be a little tricky because of these little. So if obviously these cans make a nice noise.
Mariachi. Mariachi?
These cans
Mariachi.
are not suitable for holding him up. There's no way to really mount his body to these cans very well. It's just not going to work. But what can happen is I'm going to run a bolt that goes through the body all the way down and bolts into these feet at the bottom. And it'll just pull the can tight. And the actual bolt, the long bolt, will actually run as the support for the whole thing. And then the can is just for decoration on the outside. So what we're going to have to do is cut this out just a little bit so that we can go right through the actual middle with the bolt, because this hole is not in the middle. This little tab is. So we could do it a couple of different ways. We could do it with my little handy dandy cutter that I use for everything. We could do it that way. Kind of makes a mess, but it works. There we go. Now we just, because all we need is some kind of space for in the middle. It doesn't need to be pretty because it's going to get all covered up and you're never going to see it. So we'll do the same to this one. Put one more cup. Okay. Now I need to go find some, what I use usually is threaded rod. So I'm gonna go over here, grab some threaded rod. My wife's gonna take over right now. Don't push any buttons.
I got it.
No.
Yes, he taught me how to do it wide.
No, you don't need to do it wide. See?
Because you're going to go get stuff.
No, you're not gonna see me. The wide's not even gonna work. I'll take the
Why are you
keyboard with
taking
me. Just talk. Speak.
I went to school for this. You should trust me.
No.
I have a degree.
Okay. Someday, if you guys stick around and keep following me, I'll have a tour of the shop because you're only seeing a little bit. And what do you want?
I'm just going to put it back on double when you need it.
Okay, watch. This is what I can do. So you can go to the wide.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to do that when you walk to get your stuff.
Okay, and then we can go all the way, and I can show you the rest of the shop. It's a disaster, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But over there, all this right here on these shelves and this shelf is junk, but it's my valuable junk. So it's the junk that I found that I don't want it to rust anymore. So it's got the perfect rust on it right now. And then if you pan more, that is an office that we rent out to an optometrist. He runs a business out of there. No, that's just a sign over the door. That's our gym/music room that I built. So when I built this shop, I boxed in the last back part of it to make a little gym that my kids have now taken over and make it a recording studio. So it's great. Anyway, so we can go back. There you go. Okay. So I got threaded rod. There, nice. I got some threaded rod, and we're gonna go and put that, and cut that. So there's only thread right to here, so I'm gonna cut that off first. Over here in our handy dandy, gotta get my safety glasses on. This is a very dangerous tool. You guys were asking me about it earlier. I love this thing It's probably the most dangerous tool in the shop as well. I've taken the guard off. I don't recommend that. Don't do that at home. And it'll bite. It'll bite real hard. And I've had these.
Took the guard off.
So I can get more angle when I'm cutting stuff. The other thing is I've had one of these wheels break and they fly off. Remember that one? It stuck into my collarbone, and then the other piece stuck into the wall. And I had full protection on, which, okay, now that I'm talking about it.
Yeah, let's do that. Should I wear protection? For crying out loud.
Aren't you wearing protection? Okay. And yes, those sparks hitting my shirt, if you do it too long, it does catch on fire.
Have you caught on fire before?
Yeah.
I'm finding out way too much.
You wash my clothes, you've seen it.
I've seen the holes, but I didn't know that was from fire.
Just big holes. All right, so we are going to, now I got to get some nuts for this. Now the nuts are not going to be seen, so I can use good ones.
That's what she said.
Gotta figure out what size this is. I think it's 1/4 20. Yep. What are you doing? Why are we over there?
Guys, that's where you are.
But
This is fun.
but they could still see me. I'm not drinking, by the way. So just
I am.
hey, why is my head cut off? Give me this. Give me this. Oh my gosh.
You know what? Why? Hey!
No,
I've learned it.
I'm gonna just keep it over here.
I've learned it.
All right, back to the robot. If you guys are still interested. So I need to get the middle of these two legs figured out. And how am I going to do that, you ask? I am going to make a little scribe because the ink won't show up. So I got to get my scribe. I guess it's back over here. Hey. So I'm going to get a scribe and I'm going to, supposed to be on both. There we go. I'm going to get a scribe and I'm going to mark these where they're supposed to go.
How come you're not just calling it a pen?
Because it's a scribe. It's a point. It's a metal point.
Sounds so biblical.
It's going to scratch. It's not going to write. It doesn't have ink. So I don't know what Bible you're reading, but they had awls back then. Okay, right there.
Just some stew. Is that Spencer?
Yeah.
He said I put it on the living room TV.
Oh, great.
I think you're the only one watching, son. I think everybody else has us on out of pity and are doing other things.
No, they haven't. We got 5 viewers right now.
Yeah, well, Spencer's one of them.
Okay, well, that's fine. That's fine. But we're getting this great piece done.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, so now I'm going to take my scribe again. gonna mark the middle. That is where the legs are gonna go. And then they're gonna go between that. It's 2, 2 1/4. So 1 1/8 is the middle, right there. Okay, so we come over here and we do 2 1/4. If it is 2 1/4, it is 2 1/4. We're doing 1 1/8. It's half of that to make the middle.
It's got 5 minutes before 8 o'clock.
All right, we're gonna get this. We're gonna get these legs done. All right, so we just need to drill a little hole that is the size of the threaded rod. That's all. So that drill bit we had is not big enough. Let's go. We can go a little bit bigger, oversized, because this is going to tighten itself down. One hole. What you want to do, you want to get a hole started and then check it, because a lot of times your drill bit will run and you won't get the hole centered right where you want it to. You can use a punch to start it, and that'll keep your drill bit from wandering, but I just kind of start it, kind of fudge it, and then go. Got our 2 holes. Now, what we're gonna do, put a nut on the inside here. These 2 pieces of threaded rod that I have just need a little bit taken off of them. They have a little bit of excess metal. When you cut threaded rod or any kind of nut or any kind of bolt, it's hard to get it to thread back on because you kind of mess up the threads in them. So what you can do is you can start on the other end and run it all the way. Read any good books lately?
I'm reading Pilgrim's Progress. You asked.
I don't know what that is.
A classic.
All right, there we go. Once you run the nut over that bolt, now it cleans that thread for you. So now it should just go right back on really easy. See? Okay. So we'll put this one in here. That. We're gonna put this one. Oh, we didn't run this one in. Let's see if this one works. That one was clean enough. It works. Okay. Okay, so we got that. Now what we need to do is drill a hole in the bottom of the can so that it can go all the way through. These can be as big as they need to be. They can be oversized because they're just, the bolt's just floating through the middle of them on that. It's not really going anywhere. So now we'll thread it on. Do it that way, it'll be easier. There's our legs. Now, you have to drill out a little thing. We're going to use, because this one wants to bite a lot, we're going to use our step bit to hog out that hole, just to make it nice and pretty. Because it kind of made it a little wonky shaped, but it's all right. All right, now, getting to the end here. This is going to be perfect timing, I think. I might have to weld on these threaded rod, these long bolts. I might have to weld them to the body of the robot if they aren't going to be strong enough. We're going to put them on and we're going to see if I can pull them tight enough to make it sturdy. Because I definitely got to have this thing strong and be able to stand upright on its own legs.
You should have told Armando Sky to get his
Twitch on?
Yeah, so he would love to sit and watch you build a robot.
That one's tight. That might be pretty good, actually. That's exciting. Okay, where's he?
He's starting to look cute.
Yeah, he's starting to look like a robot, huh?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit more. Foot number 2 going on. I'm thinking that on the bottom of these feet, we're still going to go with something even wider, like a bigger washer, just to kind of give him some depth, because his feet are kind of the same size as the cans. And so, I don't know if I like that aesthetic.
You want him to be
I want him to be oversized.
like
kind of.
chunky.
Yeah. We'll see.
Have you thought about what you're gonna name
So
him?
here we are. Now I don't want to cut off. Well, let me do that. If I leave enough excess inside here, then I can cut these short.
Popcorn. Some popcorn.
There we go. Okay. What I'm doing is I'm putting the threaded rod, I'm putting an extra into here, so in case I add distance down here, because I've got to cut this part off, I still have enough to put something else on there. And even while I'm saying that, I'm still going to go even more. There's no worry and no harm in leaving all of it on the inside. As a matter of fact, why don't I just go all the way and not even cut any of it? How about that? How about that? 5 is better than 2. What does that mean? Just some stew?
5 viewers is better than 2 viewers.
Oh, he's talking about the viewers.
Yeah, our high point tonight was 11.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's 10 more than I expected.
All right.
And I was counting stew as one. So
Are you going to do it again?
I think so. If everybody wants me to, I'll do it. This was fun. I gotta finish the robot. I mean, right? Doesn't everybody want to see the finished product if it's not tonight?
Yes, please.
Because I want to. So the other thing is, I'm not going to get it done tonight. Is wiring it. It's going to be wired because it's going to actually light up. So I got to run electrical through it. So that's going to be a little bit.
I didn't know it was gonna light up.
Yeah, like I was saying in the beginning, the light actually works. So I'm going to wire it so that when you turn it on, he's going to light up for sure. That was.
Stu says he thinks we hit 12.
All right, I'm not going to argue.
I probably serving a Christmas popcorn.
Why don't you just kill the bag?
My stomach hurts.
All right, we're getting to it. I'm almost there. Now, I'm going to say one thing is I don't think this thing's going to stand up because these bolts stick out farther on the bottom of his feet. So he's not going to sit perfectly straight. But what I got to do is countersink his feet so that the nuts go up into his feet farther. But for right now, here we go.
Do you wanna? Yeah, let's do the big shot.
Let's see.
Look, let's do camera 1 and zoom in.
Where? No. Do this. Look at. We're pushing.
Something,
There he is. Oh, my pin came out of this arm. See. Okay.
Yay!
So he's going to be holding some flowers. He's going to be all lit up, and there's the back internal workings of him.
Turn him the other way.
We'll have to get him all gussied up,
There we go.
and we'll do that next week, or maybe even earlier. Probably next Thursday. I'm going to keep it to Thursdays right now. If we get enough people wanting me to go twice a week, then I'll go twice a week. I'm out here all the time, so I can probably Twitch as much as anything. But anyway, there we go, and that's all I think we're going to get to today. So thank you for watching. We'll finish this guy up next week. We'll have a great time. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for all the talking and the conversations. I appreciate it, and we'll try it again next week. All right. Thank you. See you guys. Bye.